Welcome. We're now joined by our guest, special guest, the City of Howell Chief of Police, Scott Mannor.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us today. We are very excited to have you. We always like to start by allowing you an opportunity to share something personal with our listeners because one of the reasons why we invite people on the show is to really get to know who they are. So who's that person behind the badge essentially today?
Oh, geez. Let's see. Well, I'm actually from Pinckney.
Okay.
I'm not from Howell originally. So I came to Howell. I moved to Howell after I got out of the Army. So I graduated from Pinckney High School. I joined the Army, did 4 years in the Army. And then when I got out, I moved to Howell, which is kind of how I got on my law enforcement track. I was in the military police when I was in the Army. So that's kind of how I got on the law enforcement track. And that's how I applied at Howell Police Department because I lived in Howell. So
Awesome.
that's kind of how it put me on that track. But a little more personal about myself. I've been married for almost 24 years now. My wife and I have 2 daughters. One just about to turn 21 and one that just turned 17. So that's why I have a lot of gray hair now. So, but other than that, not a whole lot of personal stuff. I'm a dog lover.
Well, that's always important.
Most people probably don't know that, but if you're a close friend, you do know that. So, not to get too personal, but we're my family's a dog loving family.
So do you have dogs then?
We did. We just had to put them down. One was 18, one was
Aw.
17. 2 miniature pinchers. So
I'm sorry to hear
so
that.
right now we don't have any animals, but
Okay.
we
all
may
right.
get some soon. I don't know.
I know it's always like when do you do that? When is the time right to do that again?
Yeah.
Because
Well, the older you get, you might want to start traveling, and it's hard to do that when you have animals.
it
so.
is. Yep. So.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. So traveling maybe in the future.
Hopefully.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We appreciate you sharing some of that
Yeah.
personal side with us. It's interesting. I always find it interesting to learn about everybody's career path as well because most of them are very non-traditional. So
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, let's see. I know that there's some exciting things happening, and I know that a lot of changes have been happening as well, especially at the city. What's new with the police department, with the City of Howell?
Well, a lot at the police department. We've had a lot of turnover in the last year since my promotion in May of 20. We promoted a deputy chief, a sergeant. I just promoted a sergeant. Would take effect July 1st. Our detective Brooke Briggs. So we made that announcement yesterday, or I'm sorry, Friday. So that's an upcoming change. Then we'll have to promote a detective to fill her position. But then in the city, we just got authorization for our social district. We found that out this morning.
Oh, that's great
So
news.
yeah, I don't know
That's
if I let the cat out of the
fantastic.
bag, but it's
Yeah.
coming. You already knew that it was coming, so that got approved. So look forward to that. Hopefully by Balloon Fest that
Yep.
will be taking place. So, but yeah, a lot of turnover at the police department. All positive stuff. We just had a couple retirements, so we're looking to fill some spots. 3 spots to be exact. So we're taking applications for those. But yeah, a lot of turnover at the police department. All good stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of promotions and stuff.
So
good stuff.
that is great. That is really good to know. And I personally have been following some of the updates just on social media. I mean, you guys have been doing a really great job of just kind of honoring some of your retirees,
Mhm.
and that's been wonderful. And even just some of your sergeants and I think deputies that have been out and about doing some really cool things in the community too. I didn't know if you wanted to highlight any of that.
Yeah, we have quite a few things. I mean, our officers are out in the community all the time. So to pick one thing over another, it's kind of hard to do that.
Absolutely.
But they're out in the community all the time. They'll stop. They'll get out of their cars. They'll play basketball with the kids or visit with the kids on the playground. And I encourage that, and they enjoy doing it. One thing about this department and these officers is they love this community, and I can honestly say that these people. They get support from this community. This community likes them, and they're out in their community, out of their cars, talking with these kids and parents. When we do tours at the police department, which we do tours anytime anybody wants to come through this police department, stop in. I'll do it personally.
Oh, awesome.
But I always take the opportunity to talk with the parents, because how often do you get the opportunity to ask a police officer any question you want? Most of the time people have contact with a police officer on a traffic stop or when bad things are happening. So I always take the opportunity when the good things are happening to open that door and create that dialogue. So So yeah, the officers are always out in the community. They're always doing those positive things. So to pick one over another, if we have a life-saving award, we give that award and we publish that. So anybody will see that. We have one coming up here pretty soon. I'm just waiting on some paperwork, but you'll see that shortly. We'll probably do that at a council meeting.
Fantastic. No, that's great. That's wonderful. It's just so great to see it, and I think that it's putting that out there is just sends a really nice message, especially about kind of what Howell is all about. I did have a question, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I'm going to. You said that when you're out and about, you always like that opportunity and open the door for maybe
Absolutely.
parents. Or
Yep.
What are some questions you get?
What's in the back of your police car?
Okay.
What's on your belt? I mean, do you wear a vest? Just basic questions that we take for granted. I mean, we don't have anything special on these belts, right? They're just basic tools. But those are the kind of things that people ask. What's in the basement of your police department? Offices and our property room. And there's just basic questions like that. That's the type of questions that we get. And it's interesting to me because you're going to think they're going to ask something like, what kind of nasty calls do you have? But they don't. They ask simple questions, that they think we have these laser guns or something in the trunk of our cars.
Yeah.
There's a spare tire back there. I mean, it's kind of funny, the basic questions that we get asked. But
No, that is funny. I was just curious. So thanks for answering that. So what does your average day look like?
Ooh, my day, I work 8 to 5. I
Okay.
usually get at the police department around 7:30-ish, sometimes a little more or earlier, sometimes a little later. But mostly I jump online and look at any emails that I need to respond to or answer. Touch base with the city manager, see if he has anything for us or any updates, give him any updates that I might have. Same with the deputy chief. I'll meet with him most days and make sure we're covering any issues that we might have at the police department or citizens complaints. We get a lot of those via email now, so I make sure that those get answered or directed to the right department. And then I juggle a lot of meetings. So most days I'm in meetings at different times. So that's kind of my average day. It's pretty bland. But then some days I'm up to my eyeballs. If we have something serious going on, if we have something coming into a rally or the any event, a festival, that fills up my day. So it depends on the day.
So how do you guys prepare for an event like Balloon Fest?
Well, it depends on what Balloon Fest is. If it's a traditional Balloon Fest, that's months in the making. We attend the meetings. This year Sergeant Keller handled those meetings, but most of the time there's more than just Matt that runs that. Myself and the deputy chief will take part of that, and that's a lot of staffing. That takes most of the department, and we juggle hours because we still have to cover the road and do our other responsibilities. So that's a big undertaking for our small department. All the festivals are when they're the traditional festivals, not the COVID,
not the modified,
scaled back. Yeah. So
yeah, no, well, it's probably hopefully alleviated a little bit of stress during these COVID times.
Yeah.
But it's as you mentioned, it's months and months in the making. So I think that you guys do a phenomenal job of working with all of the entities involved in the planning for that event to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible when we are able to have a full-scale event, which we're looking forward to hopefully in 2022. So so how many people do you currently have on staff?
Well, we're allotted 18 officers and 2 support staff. We're down 3 bodies right now, so I have 15 officers. That includes myself and the deputy chief. So right now we have 17 officers, or 17 total. So we're down a couple.
Okay, and do you have like patrol schedules or?
We're on 12-hour shifts.
12-hour
So the
shifts,
officers, myself and the deputy chief, the detective, we're on 8s. The rest of the staff and the support staff are on 8s. The patrolmen are on 12-hour shifts.
Okay, and where do you guys look to recruit from?
We recruit from academies, people that are, I just received an application today, a gentleman's retiring out of another agency looking to continue to stay in law enforcement. Young guy, hired in young, so he's still wanting to stay in law enforcement. So we recruit, from all over really. Anybody that's certified, been through the police academy, that's looking for a job, we'll take their application and vet the application and whatnot. So, but we really focus hard on the academies.
Okay. And where are there just various academies located around the state of Michigan?
They're all over the state of Michigan. Yeah, there's quite a few. The deputy chief is an instructor at Washtenaw Police Academy.
Okay.
I was an instructor there when I was a deputy chief. So we recruit that one pretty hard. But we do recruit from all the academies.
Fantastic. So, what is something that you would tell maybe somebody that you were looking to recruit why they would want to come work for the Howell Police Department?
We're competitive with every other agency that's in our county. You get outside our county, then the wages increase. When you get to the east of us, the size of the departments increase as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we also pay back the academies. So if somebody hires in with us, we'll reimburse them for their academy costs, which nobody else does that.
Oh, wow.
So that's a benefit. But really, this department, the Howell Police Department, is truly a great department, and the community is a great community to work for. You can't say that about most communities. I mean, this community supports their police department. They show it all the time, and that's a big draw. You know, we're a smaller community, but I would even stretch that out to say this entire county supports their local law enforcement. So that's a big plus. If I were hiring right now, I would be looking for that sort of community.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's exactly what I was hoping to hear. So we hope that you'll be able to fill those positions soon, and we look forward to working with those individuals willing to serve this community. What other, what's one thing that you would tell people to do to prepare for or be more prepared in an emergency situation?
Well, I wouldn't say doomsday prepper, but I would suggest having a little bit of food, maybe some water. In the event that we lose power for several days or a week at a time, you have some resources. Probably the one thing that I would say though, it isn't about preparing for, but what to expect when you call 911. When you dial 911, the good guys are coming, whether that's fire, EMS, the police, but it might take us a while to get there. Our average response time last year in 2020 was 3.5 minutes. That's pretty fast, but that's an average. So it could be a lot slower than that. So if you're dealing with an emergency or a priority, we're coming. All the good guys are coming, but it might take them a few minutes to get there, which will feel like an eternity to you if you're the one in that emergency situation, right? So there's a process that they use to dispatch that, and that takes some time. So before the officer or the firefighter, EMS gets that, there's a process that has to be done by dispatch before they send that out. So there's some lag time there as well. But that would be my...
That's really good to know, honestly. I think that would probably help put a lot, at ease as you can be in an emergency, right? I think that it's really good to have that sentiment there. So thank you for sharing that. We are just about out of time. I want to thank you again for coming in today and sharing some information about yourself and about our wonderful police department we have here in Howell. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how might they do that?
At the police department, they could either call the main line, or I can give you my personal email address. It's not my personal, it's my work email address. And it's smannor@cityofhowell.org.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yep, absolutely.